A true crime writer, looking to solve an unsolved family massacre and write a book about it, begins to unravel when he finds videos of multiple massacres in the attic of his new home. I recently watched Scott Derrickson's Ethan Hawke horror film, The Black Phone. I then found out that Derrickson and Hawke worked together on Sinister in the mid-2010s. I was convinced that I had seen the film, but it turns out I never had. I guess it got lost in the sea of similar sounding films from the early part of the decade. Films like Oculus, Insidious, Ouija, and The Conjuring. Somehow I missed Sinister, and in my opinion, it's the best of that bunch. Sinister is really dark, both in tone and visually. My least favorite thing about the film is how dark it is. There were several scenes I found impossible to follow because I couldn't see anything. But as far as the dark tone of the film goes, I really like that aspect. Hawke is great as always, this time playing a washed-up true crime writer looking for his next hit. For a spark of inspiration, he decides to buy the house that an entire family was massacred in just a few years before. In the first few minutes of the film, we see the family is settled into the new home, and Hawke finds a box of 8mm tapes in the attic, each one showing a different family in a different decade getting slaughtered by an unknown person. Each of these videos feel like a true 8mm home movie. In this way, it almost feels like a found footage film. Some of these videos are truly horrifying, and each one is more disturbing than the last. Hawke must solve these crimes and figure out who committed them, as it's clearly the work of a serial killer who law enforcement doesn't even realize exists, due to the time between each of the killings and the geographical separation of those massacres. Hawke has enlisted the help of a local police officer who is a fan of his previous books to help him try to solve these murders. The combination of the disturbing found footage horror and the whodunit mystery aspect makes this film highly enjoyable. I do have the same criticism here that I had with The Black Phone, and that is the story is compelling enough on its own. I don't think it needs to have a supernatural element to be effective. I still think that I'm the minority on this opinion though, but either way, I still really enjoyed the creepy tone of Sinister. It is the perfect blend of scary and disturbing, but not one that's going to leave you unable to sleep at night or make you sick to your stomach. I think it would be talked about quite a bit more if it didn't get lost in the shuffle of the early 2010s horror films with similar sounding names. The things in horror movies that are scary to me are found footage that looks realistic, creepy kids, scary mask, and inescapable danger. Sinister has all of this and more. The likable characters add high stakes, as the audience doesn't want to see anything bad happen to these folks. If you are in the mood for a spooky movie, you cannot go wrong with Sinister. Bennington College t-shirts, drawing on your bedroom walls, editing other people's home movies, finding stuff in your attic, standing in front of an 8mm camera projector, strange symbols.